Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report. The City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and municipal news, and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. Your hosts, Emily Springstroh of Oshkosh Media and City Manager Mark Roloff.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on GovTV for your City Manager's Report, your source for all the latest and greatest news and updates here in Oshkosh, as well as a preview of the upcoming Common Council meeting agenda, some of the highlights and things to look for at that meeting. I'm your host, Emily Springstroh, joined as always by City Manager Mark Roloff. Thanks for joining us today, Mark.
Great to be here, Emily.
It's great to have you as always. We're going to go ahead and dive into our hot topics for the first half of today's show. We'll take a little break and then we'll return with a preview of the Common Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, April 23rd, 2019. So, first thing that we want to talk about has to do with council, of course, and that was the organizational meeting that took place earlier this week, Mark. And kind of just take us through first, for those of us who are not familiar with this process, what happens at the organizational meeting at the beginning of the council terms?
Well, by the nature of its name, organizational is to try to get the council organized for the structure. Obviously we have a new mayor, and also we annually select a deputy mayor, and Steve Herman, council member for several years, was selected as the deputy mayor. And then the council also goes through their rules that they have, kind of rules and procedures and things like that. And they adopted those, pretty much reaffirmed what they already had. Mm-hmm. And then they made a couple minor agenda format changes, which you may or may not notice at the agenda, but it's really more about keeping the council up to date on current issues and things that they've asked me to do and keep them in the loop on.
Excellent. So just getting everybody up to speed on how the council meetings are going to be working, and then, of course, swearing in those new council members, too. So what's next? As you can see in the video here, there is still an open seat. So how is that handled when there's a vacancy, when a council member gets elected as the new mayor?
Well, because Mayor Palmieri came from within the council, her old seat is now vacant. So the council's laid out a process. That's a 30-day process that started on April 8th. So the deadline for submitting, I believe, is May 9th, Thursday before the May 14th council meeting. Those people who submit applications will be invited to come to the May 14th council meeting, make a brief presentation, and afterwards, council selects their new colleague.
Excellent. And so those presentations take place at that council meeting that follows the Thursday, May 9th deadline. And the public gets a chance to see the people that are making the presentations and the people that are, I guess, in the mini running for that vacancy.
Yeah, we go through this process every few years. And so the idea is to, because they're getting selected rather than elected to the council wants to make sure that there's somebody who is properly vetted, and that's appropriate for this position. But it'll only be for a year to fill out the remainder of Mayor Palmieri's council term, and then that person can either choose to run again, subject to voter approval, or somebody else can take that seat.
Excellent. Well, thank you for the recap of how that all works, Mark, and we're looking forward to the new things that are going to be taking place on our council. And if you're interested in learning more about the council vacancy, there is a link on the website to that application if you're interested in applying. So moving down our list, we've got Unity and Community Recap. Now, this was a huge event that is held in Oshkosh. It's the second annual in a new location this year.
Yeah, because of the timing with the weather and everything, it moved indoors to the Oshkosh Convention Center, and I'm glad it was done inside because it was a little chilly outside that day, but we had a great turnout, well over 400 people, and lots of incredible entertainment, celebrating different cultures and whatnot. A little bit of combination of the Honor Guard and the Menominee Nation, and just so many different cultural groups are there. A lot of different ethnic foods, and just lots of fun. And if you stayed late enough, you may have been involved in a salsa lesson. So a lot of fun things. It was enjoyable to see so many different people, and just celebrating the diversity of our community. Something to be very proud of.
Yes, so we're really happy. And the city had a great involvement this year as well as last year they did too. So there was presence by the fire department, police department, parks departments. So it was really a great opportunity to not only celebrate the diversity and inclusion in Oshkosh, but also to get involved with the kids and that kind of thing.
A very fun family event. Surprised and pleased to see so many family members there.
Yes, so we're already looking forward to next year's Unity in Community event. So now moving down, we've got a little bit of an update for citizens here. We've talked about it a few times on the program on CMR, and that is the utility billing transition from quarterly to monthly. Now we've got an update. The first transition bills did get delivered this week.
Yeah, the bills are going out, and there's going to be a little surprise if you're normally getting a 3-month bill. You're going to be getting the last of your 3-month bills today, but because of the adjustment and when everything starts, people who normally get a 3-month bill for 90 days could see a bill as high as for 108 days. Mm-hmm. You're not paying more, you're just paying for more days in that period just to transition it. So it will be, for those folks, it'll be slightly higher. For people with a 2 or 1 month bill, it's going to be more consistent with what you've seen when you prorated for a full 90 days. So, but it's a one-time thing, and come May, everybody's going to be getting a monthly bill for 31 days.
Yeah, we know it's it's not exactly a convenient process to switch from the quarterly to the monthly. So we do want to say that we appreciate everybody's patience in this process as we switch to monthly, but come May, it's all going to be monthly and easy peasy.
Yes, we're certainly, apologize for any inconvenience, but the whole idea was to make the bill smaller. But unfortunately, for those of you getting a 3-month bill, it's going to be up to 108 days. So that's going to be like 3.5 months. And again, we understand that may be a little difficult, but if you can bear with us, it's just a one-time thing, and then it'll be all over with, and we'll be getting nice monthly bills. So
definitely.
Thanks to everybody for being so cooperative.
Yes, and we want to answer any questions that you might have as well. So if you do have questions, feel free to give the Utility Accounting Division a call. Otherwise, we do have the media release and a frequently asked questions document available on the city website. If you just go to the homepage to our hot topics, there's a lot of questions on there that get answered in regards to this whole transition from quarterly to monthly. So moving down, we've got the Main Street closure that we want to make people aware of. This is anticipated to start on April 23rd, Mark. It's kind of a finishing up of a project from last year, right? Right.
Last year we did a lot of work, and this is primarily if you use Main Street, North Main Street as a shortcut, or if you work in that area, go to and from home and work. It's on Main Street between Libby and Packer, and we're putting in the final touches. The sidewalk, any curb cuts for sidewalk ramps, as well as terrace restoration. We weren't able to get it all done last year for weather purposes, but now it'll be done, and certainly appreciate everybody's patience through that whole process.
Yes, and they're anticipating the closure to last about 2 weeks, I believe. So they'll have signs posted, detours posted, everything, and it's just a kickoff to the construction season, I suppose, here in Oshkosh.
Yeah, so it'll be a little inconvenient, but if you can bear with us in this area for just a couple weeks, then we'll be back to normal.
Yes. And then we want to make people aware of one other closure while we're on the topic of closures here, and that is the Wisconsin Street Bridge. That's going to be closing April 24th. It'll be a full closure, and that actually was meant to happen, I think, last week, and the weather just didn't make it possible.
There were some signs up, and now there's new signs up, but it's the Wisconsin-Ohio Street Bridge. The date right now set by the Department of Transportation is April 24th from pretty much 6 a.m. until 4 p.m., and it's basic inspection and maintenance so that as the bridge opens and closes for boat traffic, that it's operating properly and safe for everybody to travel.
Yes, and that's a seasonal thing. So at the beginning of the season and at the end of the season, you can always anticipate there's going to be a day that those bridges will be closed. So.
Yeah, so thanks for bearing with us. It's just part of the process.
Just one day. And then with the seasonal aspect, we do want to make people aware of the spring yard cleanup for 2019 is happening starting on April 22nd next week, and it goes through May 10th, 2019. So that's when the City of Oshkosh collects yard waste, and that is a great opportunity for you to get your yard work done and have it picked up on your garbage collection day.
Thanks for the reminder. Probably the only thing I really don't like about spring is all the spring cleanup you got to do, but here are the guidelines and everything everything. Put it in biodegradable bags or bundled. We're going to collect it on your regular refuse collection day, and there's the requirements for bundling things and whatnot. And then we'll be doing, and then we'll continue through the summer with weekly pickups at the first week of the month. But this gets started, and of course, our yard waste facility is open for the season, right there on 3rd between Idaho and Ohio Street, Monday through Friday, 11-7, Saturday and Sunday, 10-6. Get permits over at City Hall or Kits and File. I better run downstairs to get that done myself. But give us a call at 232-5383 if you need more information.
Yes, and all the information too is also on our website, and there's a lot of great information for frequently asked questions, things like that, on the sanitation page. So feel free to go there, give us a call if you got any questions. Otherwise, definitely take advantage of these great resources this spring. So now it's that time of the program where viewers have the opportunity to ask their city manager anything they'd like about things that are happening right here in Oshkosh. It's the question mark segment. So let's go ahead and see what the question is this week. All right, so question is, why were construction crews working so late into the night on Oregon Street?
Well, it certainly wasn't planned this way. A lot of people don't realize there's a little bit of blasting that we need to do to remove some of the rock in certain areas, and this is one of them. And during one of the detonations, some of the sanitary sewer got a little moved around, so we had to make sure that was repaired. We could have taken the chance and waited until the next night, but because rain was forecast for the next day, we didn't want to run the risk of flooding occurring or things like that. So it was an inconvenience. I'm sure the people in that immediate area around 17th and Oregon were inconvenienced, and we certainly apologize for that. But we felt that was a better thing to do than to run the risk of potential people getting flooded or something like that. So I know the contractor was out there, and these things do happen occasionally, and public safety is paramount with everything we do, and so we felt it was necessary to do that and approve that the contractor could work late. That's not normal operating procedure, because we know the contractor was out there till like 1:30 in the morning. So you won't see that too often, and hopefully not again this season, but appreciate everybody's patience. We did get some inquiries, both calls as well as social media inquiries.
Yep. So that kind of explains it. And of course, any questions on any of the projects, definitely give our Public Works Department a call. And you can also log on and sign up for email updates on any of these projects as well. So definitely check out those subscription lists on the website. But we, like Mark said, we appreciate everybody's patience in that. And it's definitely not, hopefully, a regular occurrence for this project.
It better not be.
So great question. Thank you to those who send their questions and discuss things on Facebook where we pull them. So if you'd like to send a question to Mark, go ahead and send it to us on Twitter at City of Oshkosh, post it on the Oshkosh Media Facebook wall, or email it to questionmark@ci.oshkosh.wi.us, and he'll answer it on the next episode of City Manager's Report. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to dive into the Common Council meeting agenda highlights for Tuesday, April 23rd. We'll be right back.
Holding a phone takes precious attention away from the road. That's why handheld cell phone use is now illegal in Wisconsin work zones, and fines start at $40. Driving deserves your undivided attention. It's about safety for workers and for all motorists. So when you see orange cones, please put down the phone. The Wisconsin DOT urges you to help us achieve 0 deaths on Wisconsin roads.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Welcome back to City Manager's Report. Thanks again for joining us. Now it's that time of the show where we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights on the upcoming Common Council meeting agenda, this one for Tuesday, April 23rd, 2019. So Mark, the first thing that we want to discuss is a couple of items, and that is dealing with the borrowing, and that is approving the resolutions authorizing not exceeding $5,450,000 general obligation bonds, and then a long agenda item here. I won't read through it, but it's the general obligation notes. So kind of take us through what exactly this is.
Well, our annual borrowing program is a result of our capital improvement program. So we identify what projects we're going to borrow for, and then sort that out into the various issues of bonds that we will do. There are general obligation bonds that are funded by the general taxpayer, our property taxes. And then there are also the utility bill bonds that are done by proceeds from the utility bills that we pay, whether that's water, sanitary sewer, or storm sewer. So there's that, and then there's also notes versus bonds. And you can think about it like if you think about a home mortgage, some people have a home mortgage of 30 years, other people have one for 15 years or maybe shorter. The bonds are 20-year borrowings. So generally those are for capital improvements of a much longer duration, pretty much streets and large improvements, versus notes, which are for things that have a shorter duration. We do borrow sometimes for plow trucks and things of that nature, or things that just have a shorter life to them than others. So that's how we break down the borrowings. But we're only borrowing $450,000 for general obligation bonds. So that's 20-year. And then the balance of it is actually for 10-year borrowing. So that's good because we pay it off quicker. It may cost more in the short run, but in the long run, we're paying much less interest, and of course, over a shorter period of time. So all good things. And then, the other part of this is the utility bonds, and those are paid with utility bills. And we make a presentation to a company called Moody's Investor Service that evaluate our credit worthiness. No different from you and I going to the bank, but we have to explain those things to the rating agencies, and then people bid on the bonds, and the better we look as a credit risk, the lower interest rate we pay, which is great for everybody.
Definitely. Well, wow, thank you for the background on all of that, especially the relation between bonds and notes and how the borrowing works for the city of Oshkosh. And it's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes oftentimes, so it's kind of nice to get a little inside look of that. So this is something that's annually on the agenda, correct, for the borrowing?
Yeah, it's always a borrowing thing, and you'll be able, it ties in with our capital improvement plan, which the council approved back in November.
Perfect. So moving down the agenda, Mark, we want to talk about the agenda item approving the cooperative agreement for water rescue services with Winnebago County. And this is a great collaboration between a couple of different entities. So tell us a little bit about this.
It really is a great collaboration. The county sheriff's department, or the county itself, has a water rescue vehicle. And our fire department, because they are available 24 hours a day and have access to the water, we actually house the boat during the winter so that when there's an incident, we can get out there and help do the rescue much more quickly. And our folks are trained year-round on this type of thing, so they really are the best group to be able to do that. Station 15 is right on the Fox River, really accessible to Lake Winnebago. They can get to various parts of both ends of the Fox River as well as the Lake Winnebago system.
Yeah, so location-wise, like you said, perfect, and just a really great partnership that we can work with Winnebago County on that. So thank you for the background on that. And then right after that, we've got an agenda item titled Authorizing the Submittal of Department of Natural Resources Stewardship Grant. This is for the Pioneer Riverwalk from Main Street to the railroad tracks. And it's always great to see a Riverwalk update on here, so kind of take us through what this one's going to look like.
We continue to be very aggressive on pursuing grants, and I think the number is probably upwards of $6 million that we've gotten over the last 10 years. And I think it demonstrates that DNR recognizes that what we're trying to do is really benefiting the whole public. And we're very aggressive on seeking grants. And methodically, we've been able to get through various stages of the Riverwalk. We're awaiting an award for another Riverwalk grant over by Oshkosh Corporation, but this is back downtown, getting us closer to Pioneer Island. So this one literally will start at Main Street itself, South Main Street, and go along Pioneer Drive, which will eventually be closed, but right along the river so that the public has full access to enjoy the riverfront, and then eventually get over to Pioneer Island, and Pioneer Island will be its own separate project, but we need to get over there. So we're excited. This is eventually tying with everything that we're looking to do in the Sawdust District. And the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources, has been very receptive to all the work we've done. And we look forward to continuing that partnership with them, and appreciate the public support for recognizing the value that the Riverwalk provides our community.
Definitely very exciting seeing this new adjustment coming to the Riverwalk project, and just kind of tying downtown all together again, right?
Yeah, so if we get this award, this will probably be in 2020 construction. So we always have to stay a year ahead of this. So we're excited to be getting ready for the next season.
Excellent. Moving down, we've got the awarding of a bid for Public Works Contract 1907 to Dorner for water main and lateral relay. Now, this is a big number, and it's kind of a follow-up from last year's project, right, Mark?
This is a continuation of replacing water main in kind of the northwest part of the city, pretty much north of Murdoch and west of Linwood and east of Algoma. We did some of this neighborhood last year, and we're going to continue. It's getting water mains that are old ductile iron pipe that needs to get replaced, as well as some of the laterals themselves. A lot of these are not necessarily lead laterals like we're concerned about, but we are, making sure that we get these laterals taken care of just the same if they're in rough shape. We get this done, and people will be noticed if they get assessed for the lateral. The water mains themselves, that's all on us, but this will certainly disrupt that neighborhood. So as you're heading towards Oshkosh North High School or Valley Christian or any of the areas on the north side, just be aware that there may be some activity going out there this year.
Good to know. Good to know. Moving down our list, we've got the approval purchase of manhole and inlet castings for Public Works Department at the amount of about $46,500. So kind of take us through what this is. Is that really something that is bought every year?
Well, this is a catch-all purchase that we do because we have a multitude of different capital projects that involve replacement of manholes. And when you do, you generally replace the manhole covers themselves. And as you can imagine, manhole covers are, you talk about how heavy they are and joke about that. And they take a great deal of lead time to get done. And if every contractor we hired ordered separate manholes, it could actually delay a very big project because of one little manhole.
Exactly.
So the idea is that we order them in advance so that when the contractor's hired, we just say, we've got the manhole covers, you'll just install them and pick them up from us. It makes things very easy to get done. And then also the cost does not necessarily get passed on. No markup is charged because we buy these things directly. We do the same thing with traffic signals, getting that equipment in advance because, again, the lead time often makes it difficult to be able to get these done. And we certainly don't want a project held up because a manhole cover we're waiting on a manhole cover.
Right. We want to have these projects wrap up as soon as possible, as do our residents, I'm sure. And so it's just a good way to plan ahead and kind of streamline those projects a little bit, right? Yeah,
very. Our engineers are smart people. They know that we've got to get all these things logistically worked out so that the project gets done. It's cost effective as well as time efficient.
Definitely. So moving down our agenda, we've got a lot of special events on the agenda. One that we wanted to just kind of touch on is the Wisconsin Glow Home Opener at the Menominee Nation Arena for May 10th, 11th, and then also June 8th. So what exactly is this event going to be? Well,
a lot of people may not necessarily be aware that there is a women's basketball minor league team that's coming to Oshkosh. It's called the Wisconsin Glow. And they asked for a special event because they're going to be having some activities out on their front yard, which essentially, because it's going to be serving some alcohol, it'll be a little fenced off, but separated from the sidewalk, so people can still walk up and down South Main Street. But they want to do that to get a little promotion, to get people to go to the games. I'll let them do the advertisement for it, but it's a nice little event, and certainly we want the neighbors to know that it's happening because, we want to be sensitive to the impact on the neighbors. And that's why we're doing a special event permit, and we're real happy to be participating with the arena to make sure this all happens in a safe and helpful manner to the residents out there.
Right. For an event like that takes place outside always is a great thing to discuss. And it's very an exciting time here in Oshkosh to have the new Wisconsin Glow team call us home. So moving down under new resolutions, a couple other special events that we're looking forward to actually here, and that's for the Oshkosh Rotary Club utilizing the Leach Amphitheater, Riverside Park for the 4th of July celebration on July 4th. And then right after that is moving the Festival Foods Fireworks show to Pioneer Island as the site. So tell us a little bit about this one, Mark.
Well, now that we know that we're going to be doing Hazel Street this year, we knew that if Sawdust Days was going to continue, it was going to be a real logistical problem. With Sawdust Days no longer being active, a local group has been looking, and the Oshkosh Rotary Club is one of the groups that has said, hey, we'd like to step up and help with this. So we're going to be moving a lot of family activities down to the Leach Amphitheater. And so during the day, you'll see details, because they're still working on them.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the big details they wanted to get worked out was the 4th of July fireworks show. And so the owners and the person who has the option on Pioneer Island has agreed to allow the fireworks vendor that we use for the Festival Foods Fireworks Show to do the fireworks show off the island. So people will have to pick their right vantage point for the 4th of July and plan those things out. And we're going to be talking to downtown businesses to make sure there's plenty of parking available. We talked about Pioneer Drive earlier. We're going to close Pioneer Drive so people can get their lawn chairs and things like that, so we can have lots of people out there. It wouldn't hold too many cars anyway, so we may as well make it accessible for people to watch the fireworks show. So, map out where your plan is for the 4th of July. I'll certainly be eyeballing good locations to watch fireworks from. But stay tuned. We'll be providing more details later.
Yes, like you said, early in the process yet, but now we have a little bit more of an idea of where locations and things are going to be taking place. And 4th of July is going to look a little different this year. So we're excited for the change and looking forward to more details from the Rotary Club on their event, and then also taking advantage of Pioneer Island for those fireworks. So moving down right after that, we have the exception for donations and improving the agreement with the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation and C.R. Meyer for the Eagle exhibit at Menominee Park Zoo. This is a new exhibit coming to Menominee Park.
It is, but this project has been in the works for a number of years. Several different donations that the Community Foundation has taken the lead on. And we actually, up to the previous year, we had about $150,000 already donated. I was just aware that the Altrusa Club just stepped forward with over $25,000 in donations. So they are up to about $225,000 in donations for this Eagle exhibit. The generosity of our community and their support of the Menominee Park, as well as the our Menominee Park Zoo, is just wonderful. And of course, through the generosity of the Herrenberg, Tom and Penny Herrenberg Foundation, they provide free admission to the zoo every year. But now we're going to have an Eagle exhibit to add to all the other great things we have at Menominee Park Zoo. And the Community Foundation gets so much credit for taking the lead to identify people who love the zoo and want to help it. So we're excited and happy to be accepting this and look forward to an Eagle exhibit probably in next year's zoo features.
Yes, definitely. Such an outstanding thing to add to an already fabulous resource here in Oshkosh. So great positive note to end the show on. We are out of time today, Mark. So as always, I'd like to thank you for joining us on City Manager's Report.
It's been a pleasure.
Again, the Common Council meeting is this Tuesday, April 23rd at 6 p.m. You can watch it live on GovTV and on our website, oshkoshmedia.org, or you can listen to it on 101.9 Oshkosh FM, which is also online and on the TuneIn Radio app. Make sure to like Oshkosh Media on Facebook or follow us on Twitter for all of your community and government programming and updates, or check out our YouTube channel for government meeting replays and past episodes of your favorite programs. And don't forget, if you have a question for City Manager Mark Roloff, send it to us on Twitter, post it to our Facebook page, or go ahead and email it to us, and he'll answer it on the next episode of CMR. So with that, we'd like to thank you again for joining us on this episode of City Manager's Report, and we'll see you next time.